When we talk about vehicles that reshaped how the world thinks about machines, it's easy to imagine tanks, trucks, or tractors that conquered mountains or battled on dusty roads. But the Unimog Prototype U1 didn't come from a war contract or from a military planner. It was born out of sheer necessity in a country that was literally rebuilding itself after total collapse. In post-World War II Germany, fields needed plowing, rubble needed clearing, and farmers, engineers, and even soldiers needed a tool that could do everything. That seed grew into the vehicle known first as U1 and later simply as the Unimog, short for Universal Motor Garret, literally Universal Motorized Device. The story begins with Albert Friedrich, an engineer with experience at Daimler-Benz in aircraft engine design, who saw that the country needed a new kind of machine, one that was more than just a tractor or a truck. It needed to be a combination of both, capable of field work, transport, and even generating power for other equipment. With Allied approval in the harsh post-war environment, Friedrich began development in early 1946, forming a small team that included designer Heinrich Rossler and others who shared a vision of unconventional vehicle engineering. By late 1946, the first prototypes were taking shape, not with diesel engines because those were not yet available in suitable form, but with gasoline engines, specifically the 1.7-liter Daimler-Benz M136 unit. These early machines, including the very first U1, used this petrol engine because it was what could be sourced and fitted during initial development. The first test drive of this prototype took place on 9 October 1946, long before the arrival of the diesel that would later power production-ready models. These early petrol-powered prototypes already had a set of features that would come to define the Unimog concept: a wide speed range from about 2 to 31 miles per hour, four-wheel drive with differential locks, braked axles front and rear, a real departure from contemporary tractors, and a robust chassis influenced by truck engineering rather than farm equipment. They also had a two-seat cab with a folding roof and windshield, a load platform capable of carrying roughly 1 ton, and mounting points for implements around the vehicle. This wasn't a tractor, and it wasn't a truck. It was something entirely new. Designers also paid attention to weight distribution. Unlike typical tractors that were heavily rear-biased, the early Unimog chassis put roughly 2/3 of the mass on the front axle and 1/3 on the rear, improving its ability to navigate rough and uneven terrain without losing traction. Power takeoffs at both the front and rear, as well as an auxiliary belt drive, allowed the prototype to operate external equipment, from plows and mowers to pumps and generators, without complex adapters. The name Unimog itself came from a notepad sketch by Hans Zabel, another key engineer in the project. On one drawing, he wrote Universal Motor Garret, and the acronym stuck. On 20 November 1946, the name was officially adopted, capturing the essence of the vehicle's intended versatility: a universal machine for a time when nothing was easy and everything was needed. While the petrol-powered prototypes proved the concept, it soon became clear that the future of the vehicle lay with diesel engines. In mid-1947, as low-cost diesel fuel gained official approval for agricultural use, the team began experimenting with the new Daimler-Benz OM636 diesel engine. This engine delivered roughly 25 horsepower, and although it wasn't powerful in absolute terms, it provided excellent torque and efficiency for heavy field work. The diesel prototypes, including later versions like the U5 and U6, were built at the Beringer factory in Geppingen and formed the bridge to the series production Unimog. Development didn't stop at engines. The Unimog team made revolutionary choices in suspension and driveline layout. Instead of rigid tractor axles, the prototype used live axles with coil springs and hydraulic shock absorbers, a combination that gave the vehicle far more control and comfort at higher speeds than any contemporary farm machine. Equal-sized wheels and a reasonably narrow track width also meant the Unimog could work in fields without damaging crops, following 2 rows of potatoes side by side, a detail that may seem quaint today but was deeply practical then. By 1948, the improved prototypes and pre-series vehicles were ready for public demonstration. At the German Agricultural Society exhibition in Frankfurt am Main, the Unimog captured attention for its unusual combination of mobility, implement compatibility, and genuine road capability. Over 150 pre-orders were taken at that event alone, proving that the concept had mass appeal beyond the engineer's workshop. Series production began in 1948 at the Boehringer plant, resulting in the Unimog 70200 model range, of which around 600 units were built by April 1951. In 1950, Daimler-Benz acquired the rights and production tooling, integrating the project into its mainstream operations. The success of the 70200 series confirmed that this strange hybrid machine, part tractor, part truck, part off-road platform, was no fluke. It was a solution to real problems facing farmers, municipalities, emergency services, and later even military logistics around the world. The Unimog Prototype U1 may never have been a household name on its own, but its legacy is unmistakable. It proved that one vehicle could challenge the conventions of agricultural machinery and automotive engineering simultaneously. From petrol engines in the earliest U1 units to the diesel heart of later series models, the Unimog's evolution reflects a period of innovation driven by necessity and shaped by engineers willing to rethink what a vehicle could do.